Greeting everyone. Today we will present about DHL smooth logistics for the first triple header in Formula One history. We are Group 9 with 4 members, with tên Bình, Lê Hữu Lực, Đặng Nguyễn An Nguyên, and Đinh Nguyễn Linh Dan. This is the contact information of our group, so let's move on to the main content. The topic of the presentation is divided into 8 parts, as you can see here. So first we will have a look at the Formula One triple race. No sport is as logistically challenging as motorsports. While equipment matters in any sport, in the motorsport, the human is only half the athlete. The vehicle is the other half. The performance of a motorsports vehicle is directly tied to having the right components in right place at the right time, so the logistics are part of the competition. On Sunday, June 24, 2018, France host its first Grand Prix in 10 years. The race on the Côte d'Azur is also the first of historic triple header for Formula One, followed on successive weekend by the Austrian Grand Prix and British Grand Prix. A sequence of 3 back-to-back races represents an enormous challenge for the entire paddock. DHL had prepared the logistics for the race thoroughly and clearly planned the upcoming trip. Planning for this race was made 3 months before. 3 races in 3 consecutive weeks have featured on the program for the first time in Formula One's long history, dating back to 1950. That presented a completely new and very special challenge, which DHL mastered superbly together with the teams, calling over 35 years of experience in the field of motorsport logistics. So we have some challenges like employees have to work non-stop for a long time, and there are many pressing issues that need to be addressed on the track. Also, the construction of the training ground is also carried out quickly despite the influence of the weather or external factors. The engine parts also need to be improved and upgraded to make the race easier. Moving on to the next part is the time factor. For a tight schedule of 3 Formula One Grand Prix races in 3 weeks, first in France followed by Austria and ending in the United Kingdom, with a total travel distance of more than 4,000 km. Speed is an essential factor. It takes months before the race even starts that the plan has been made. In the end, the DHL team had to work for 35 days straight, with up to 96 hours of driving across Europe to successfully organize the first ever triple header in Formula One history. So you can see on the map here, the Austria-UK transfer from Spielberg to Silverstone is the most difficult one, as it involves over 1,500 kilometers and a short point, the British Channel Tunnel. A truck needs 3 drivers, as European laws only allow for maximum of 8 hours driving time, so they use 3 drivers per truck for non-stop transportation. The truck will only stop for fueling. But traveling time is not the only time-consuming factor of this tight schedule. The DHL team must consider the on-site preparation and preparation time. As the race starts on Sunday, the equipment, facility, and team kit have to be transferred, say, on Tuesday. This tight schedule means that teams must use 2 race kits. The flyaway one in Austria and the French Grand Prix kit will be directly transferred to Britain. The Britain Silverstone Formula One race. In practice, right timing means that the team has no more than 48 hours after the race to dismantle the irreplaceable equipment at the race venue, transport it to the next venue, and reassemble it there. There must be a time frame of just 2 days for the transportation of the valuable and sensitive cargo, including the team's racing car, tires, fuel, and spare parts, but also transmission, technology, hospitality, and marketing equipment. So I will talk about the next part is the transportation of DHL. DHL was in charge of organizing the shipment of the necessary supplies for the events as the official logistics partner for the Formula One racing tripleheader. Logistics management depends heavily on transportation. Thus, DHL probably used a range of tactics and tools to make sure that the supplies for the tripleheader were transported smoothly and effectively. The following are some important logistic-related transportation to consideration. First is mode selection. To find the most effective and economical means to convey supplies for the tripleheader event, DHL may have to consider other modes of transportation, including air, ground, and sea. But in this situation, they choose to use truck on land due to the modern road, and they are on 3 countries in Europe, so they are connected by land. Even the British Isles can be reached by truck from the tunnel under the British Channel. Next is capacity planning. It's important to make sure there is enough capacity to fulfill demand for transportation, and DHL may use tactics like load consolidation or multi-modal transportation to make the best use of its available resources. Next is network design. The design of transportation network can have a substantial impact on efficiency. To maximize the flow of resources for a one-time event like this, DHL is most likely to use a direct point-to-point strategy for fastest transportation time. The last consideration is collaboration with carriers. It is possible that DHL coordinate with the transportation of resources and ensures prompt delivery by working closely with carriers. For DHL to successfully satisfy the logistical demands of the tripleheader in Formula One racing and assure the successful execution of the event, good transportation management was probably necessary.
I'm going to be discussing the inventory management strategy of the DHL team for Formula One races. Preparation for races begins 2 months in advance for races in Europe and 3 months in advance for overseas races. For races in Europe, transport is exclusively by land, and for overseas races, the use of 5 Boeing 747s and between 40 and 70 sea freight containers is required. Around 1,000 trucks are deployed for the transport of consumable and equipment from track to track on behalf of the team, the FIA, and the media. Fuel for the car concept, the race is delivered the day before the race. The team are required to have quick access to new parts, which is why vans are constantly moving between factory and racetrack. Continuing on from our discussion on inventory, let's now take a look at the warehousing strategy of the DHL team for Formula One races. DHL crew work on the hospitality suite at the paddock of the race. Equipment is delivered up until the night before the race so that team have quick access to it. The team are using one of their flyaway race kits for the Australian GP, which takes place 1 week after the French GP. Some trucks that are currently in use at League Australia will leapfrog the Australia GP and proceed directly to the British GP. In conclusion, the inventory and warehousing strategy of the DHL team for Formula One races are carefully planned and managed to ensure that the team have quick access to the necessary equipment and consumables they need to perform at their best. The use of largely of truck and container, along with the team attention detail, allows us seamless and efficient process for transporting and storing equipment for X-rays.
Moving on to the packaging. Packaging and handling for this highly specialized equipment require robust and secure grip, which can be used across all type transport modes and which comply with global standards and regulation. Each type item has its own packaging in accordance with the characteristics and requirements, such as car, fuel, and batteries. The packaging used for raw materials, component parts, and finished product in the technology must therefore withstand rapid, long distance. Adding to this challenge, packaging must physically protect smart, connect semiconductor products. They are highly sensitive to shock, vibration, humidity, extreme temperature, electrostatic discharge, and other environmental factors, and they tend to be small, lightweight, and of high value. This means that any loss due to damage, even if this affects just a single package, is likely to be costly and disruptive. Packaging was essential for safeguarding and maintaining these resources throughout storage and transit. In the process, DHL used eco-friendly packaging techniques to lessen the negative effect of this operation on the environment. It was probably imperative for DHL to create sustainable packaging solutions, including material design selection. It is no coincidence that Formula One racing is named the most attractive racing tournament in the world. In addition to its long history, Formula One also shows people the class in the huge amount of money used to invest in the annual tournament. In no sport in logistics as paramount as Formula One, and DHL has carried out its important mission. Top racers are only half of the winning formula. The other half is the car and the team that support it. Success of value, victory that cannot be reached, now depend on having the necessary spare part in the most urgent situation. And that's all about our presentation about DHL Smooth Logistics for the first triple header in Formula One history. Thank you for your attention.